Okay, and we know that to end off the show, more times than not, we don't do it every single show, but we have been doing it more consistently. It's a take for 99 cents, where we give you a take that we have in our minds in all of sports, and we get to fire it off, and we get to get a response, and we get to, you know, end off the show in a very good fashion. And Zach, look, I want to begin. I have a take right here. And I'm not gonna lie. I need a sip of this water because I think this might be the best take that I had on this segment. I really do. My take for 99 is, and it's a question, is the NFL really in good hands when it comes to quarterback play? As I break it down, we know that the NFL is constantly changing, evolving for the good and sometimes for the worse. For the last decade, as I've been watching football, in the prime of me growing up watching the game, we had our Big Ben, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Eli Manning, Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers. Those was the guys I grew up on. And 99% of those guys were traditional pocket passes. They didn't really have the most dominant physical attributes, but they had the football intelligence. And I'm seeing a lot of guys today with all these physical attributes, mobility, but less football intelligence. And they don't have the same clutch genes as those guys had back in the day. And I remember, when these guys were retiring one by one. We saw Big Ben, we saw Drew Brees, we saw Eli Manning retire. And I remember us saying, you know what, the league is going to be in good hands because we have, the Mahomes who's taking the torch, Joe Burrow. We have all these quarterbacks, with mobile abilities. The quarterbacks, we are in good hands when it comes to quarterback play. And I'm not sure we are. And as we bring it up, right, we are seeing teams replacing these guys have a hard time replacing these guys. For example, Baker Mayfield and Mac Jones. How's that coming along? Replacing the GOAT, Tom Brady. Ask Bill Belichick. Won all them games with Tom Brady, how it's coming along. Okay, my guy about to not make it back home from Germany. We are living in the end times, guys. We are living in the end of days. My guy Bill Belichick may get fired, okay, next week or maybe at the end of the year. Ask him how it's coming along replacing Tom Brady. Ask the Bucks how it's coming along replacing Tom Brady, okay? Ask, Kenny Pickett, and the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, who hasn't won a playoff game in 6 years. How is it coming along replacing Big Ben? It's not that easy, huh? Okay? Ask, the Saints replacing Drew Brees, how it's coming along. Derek Carr, yeah, he's been okay, but okay ain't going to get you to the parade. Okay? It's not happening. Ask them. What you said?
How about the Packers?
I was just about to get there. Ask the Packers how it's coming along replacing Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. They had great quarterback play for 30 years. Ask them how it's coming along with Jordan Love right now. Ask the Falcons how it's coming along replacing Matt Ryan right now. Okay, they haven't done anything since Matt Ryan. Okay, in prime Matt Ryan, how is it coming along? Ask the Panthers replacing prime Cam Newton how it's coming along. They still haven't found their quarterback yet. Okay, and they drafted Bryce Young. But don't worry, I'm coming back there in a few minutes. Ask the Broncos how it's coming along replacing Peyton Manning, who was the last guy to take this team to the chip. How is it coming along? And by the way, Russell Wilson is trash now. Okay? He's not even an elite quarterback no more. And he was trending to be a Hall of Famer. Okay? Let's ask them about that. So many, quarterbacks. Even Phillip Rivers. Believe it or not, I get it. Justin Herbert is more talented than Phillip Rivers were. He is. But Phillip Rivers won 5 playoff games. And he got to an AFC championship game. Justin Herbert been in the league for 4 years. He didn't win a playoff game. He got there one time. Okay? Think about the differences. Okay? Deshaun Watson became trash overnight. And he was so-called an elite quarterback. Okay? And think about the elite quarterbacks who we deem elite today. Their interceptions are high. And the fact that we are calling C.J. Stroud a top 10 quarterback in his rookie year at the halfway point should tell you all you need to know about quarterback play in the NFL. Because truth be told, what he's doing is an aberration. Because when you look at the top 3 picks in the NFL over the last couple years, I'm just going to bring up some names here that were top 3 picks at quarterback. Okay, Sam Darnold, bust. Zach Wilson, bust. Baker Mayfield, bust. Bryce Young, potentially bust. Josh Rosen, bust. Kyler Murray, potentially bust. Carson Wentz, bust. Trey Lance, bust. All these busts.
Haven't
Okay,
even mentioned Justin Fields, maybe Mac Jones.
Justin Fields, maybe bust. Mac Jones, bust. Kenny Pickett, maybe. I ain't gonna go there yet. Maybe he's not elite, but he wasn't a top 3 pick, so that don't even count. My point being, we thought the league was in good hands when all these veteran, great Hall of Fame champions retired, but maybe we are not, and that's my take for 99.
I like it because there were just so many guys just watching these games on Sunday, like Tommy DeVito, even Aiden O'Connell, who I like. I'm a fan of. I think he could be really good one day. But not a lot of people expected him to be playing this early during his rookie season. Tyson Bagent. I know these guys are backups, but at the same time, I just feel like no one could have expected it to be this bad this quickly. And I think just a possible answer could be quarterbacking is really hard, and maybe there just aren't 32 capable human beings of being good, capable of being good at playing the position. And that's something that I don't know if Roger Goodell and the NFL really ever considered. There is not there are plenty of good wide receivers in the league. There are plenty of good pass rushers in the league, kickers, punters, certain positions. They're just running backs, of course, the most obvious one. There are certain positions that they're just a surplus of guys that are really good and could just get it done. Quarterback is not one of them. What? There may be 10 guys.
And guess what? The contracts are going up for these quarterbacks. So even though these guys like Brady, Brees, Ben, Eli won championships, they weren't getting paid like how these quarterbacks are getting paid today. And I think another thing too, and this may be the difference, because it's a question, so I try to answer and find answers within my own question. And I say to myself, well, quarterbacks back then, they weren't as talented physically, but they were smarter. And I think these quarterbacks today, respectfully, and I know I may ruffle feathers, but they're not just that intelligent. They're not intelligent at all. And I think the babying down of the playbook has a lot to do with that.
Interesting. Yeah, but I definitely see where you're coming from, because, man, just watching these games on Sunday, it was just what does this guy do? Tommy DeVito is not an NFL quarterback, please. There are 50 to 60 quarterbacks better in the NFL right now, and maybe 30 guys in college that are better than him. I am shocked that this guy is in the NFL right now.
Have we ever seen another Joe Flacco? I understand that kid from Chicago is trying to be that guy, but clearly he's not. We haven't seen a guy like Joe Flacco, Division II, Delaware State University, come in and win a Super Bowl. He was not a highly drafted pick.
Nick Foles might be the other guy. Not a ton. But there are 32 teams, and they're definitely not 32 capable starting quarterbacks. So I'll agree with you there.
All right, Zach, you could bring us home.
Yeah, well, so we actually very briefly just hit on the subject I'm going to be talking about. And it's funny, right? This has been a great show. I've had a great time. We've hit on so many of these games from Sunday. But I'm going to hit on a game that might have been the most relevant, boring game of them all on Sunday. One that we haven't hit on yet. One that, honestly, when I was thinking about it, man, what was my main take coming out of this game? I didn't even know what to say. I'm talking about the Rams and the Packers, and that was a game that ended 20-3. Green Bay was able to get the win. And honestly, after sitting down for about 10 minutes thinking about it, my main takeaway was, and this is despite the Packers getting the win, is, man, Jordan Love, he's not the answer. And I think by this time next year, the Packers are going to need a new quarterback going into the offseason. And what I was thinking about also is, we know the Packers are such a unique franchise in the sense that they're literally the only franchise in all of professional sports, the Big Four, that do not have an owner. It's the fans that own the team. And I was thinking about this. They made such a bold move, trading up to draft Jordan Love right before Aaron Rodgers was about to win 2 MVPs. And that decision, just like I've maintained from when they made it, is looking like a mistake, and it's going to age a mistake. And my question is, who's going to pay for that? Is Matt LaFleur going to pay for it? Is Brian Gutekunst, the GM, going to pay for it? Is Mark Murphy, kind of the guy who's the highest up in charge of things, is he going to pay for it? I just feel like if this was like the Raiders, right, and Mark Davis owned the team, he would have a clear scapegoat for what he was going to do when this Jordan Love pick blew up in their face. If Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, if he owned the team, he would have like a clear fall guy. The Packers don't really have that. They are owned by literally their fan base, the public. And I just still maintain, like, if they didn't make that move to alienate their Hall of Fame quarterback and just draft T. Higgins, like, I think there's a good chance Aaron Rodgers retires as a Packer. I think there's a good chance he has a second Super Bowl ring by now. I think there's a good chance Devontae Adams is still a Packer. And I think that still is going to be a decision that costs them for the end of time. So who is going to be the guy that pays for the decision and the mistake to draft Jordan Love in Green Bay?
Yeah, I think it's a good take in the sense that, you know, I'm not sure who it was that wanted Jordan Love, because, you know, sometimes you had those differences within GM and coach. But I think whoever made that or pushed that decision should be the one to be held accountable for that. So whether that be Matt LaFleur, whether that be, you know, whoever, yeah, they don't have an owner, so it'll be the GM, Kuda Kuntz, or will be Matt LaFleur. Excuse me. Yeah, Matt LaFleur. So one of those guys got to pay for it. I think for me, man, you know, sometimes luck run out. And I'm not saying that what they did was lucky, but it kind of is. I do want to give, you know, credit for the scouts that scout these quarterbacks for them to get 30 years of consistent quarterback play. So I don't want to undermine the hard work that goes into, okay, we should draft this guy. But at the same time, there's luck involved, because there's certain guys that you hit on, there's certain guys that you missed on, but they didn't reach, they didn't miss. What they did with Brett Favre was amazing. How they went to the Aaron Rodgers era and transferred to that was amazing. But Jordan Love may not be it. And I think they kind of knew that when they did that 1-year contract thing instead of picking up the 5th-year option. I always thought that was a little bit suspect. I kind of brushed it off, but in the back of my mind, that was always suspect because we didn't see a contract like that before. And I think they probably saw something when, you know, the chickens always come home to roost. You know, they didn't allow him to dress the first year. They gave him that 1-year deal instead of picking up the 5th-year option. So it was kind of like a prove it deal. And I think those were the signs that maybe this guy wasn't that elite. And I understand they started off the year hot against Chicago and he looked good. But Jordan Love always had consistency issues. And I saw that in the preseason where he have a good game where he would do nothing for a couple drives, like the first 3 drives. Then he have a good pass down the field and they score, and then we kind of forget about it because they scored and he looked good on that drive. He needs to play consistent football, and I don't think he has played consistent. I'm not gonna call him terrible. Clearly, I'm not gonna call him good. He just needs to be consistent, and I'm not seeing that. And I like to take, I think somebody needs to pay for that, because when you invest, you know, into that guy and you lose a guy in the process of that, because that ended up being the shot that trickled down to Aaron Rodgers leaving and Devontae Adams leaving because he thought Rodgers was out. All that was a collaboration with that move. Somebody has to pay, and we'll see who is that guy that pays for that.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. It's all ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.